What is up, freaks? This is Ryan. How are you? Starting a little bit early tonight because RJ went to bed earlier than I was expecting him to. And yeah, I figured why not go a little bit earlier than 9 o'clock. Hope everyone having a good weekend here. You know, I gotta be honest, it's been kind of a rough weekend for the family over here. Those of you who don't know, my let's see here. Get this off here. Sorry. Whoop. There it goes. Those of you who don't know, my grandma passed away on Friday morning. And I got the message like 7 o'clock in the morning. It wasn't even a message. My dad called. I don't even know why I said message, but I got a phone call at 7 o'clock in the morning from my dad. And he was like, at first I see him calling. I'm like, great. First I thought it was my sister who's been in and out of the hospital for the past few years. I thought maybe that she had gone back to the hospital. No, I answered the phone and everything. And hey Lois, thank you. And he was, just wants to let you know that your grandma passed away. Grandma died on this morning at 2 o'clock. And she'd been going through some stuff, and she's had a good life, a long life. She's 90. I thought she was 95. She's 94 years old, and so she's lived a full life, and I'm really gonna miss her because when my mom passed away, she really kind of took over. I mean, no one's gonna replace my mom, but it was good to have her there after my mom passed away. She's always such a good person to everyone. I mean, she has this disposition where it was always very patient, very loving and stuff. And I wish I could be like that. And I'm not. I'm just not. I don't know. So, we're very close. And, I was, for the longest time, I guess I still am, but I was the only grandson out of all of the grandchildren. They're all girls. So, she'd call me her one and only grandson. I had milked that up to, the nth degree, and, I love going to her house to spend the night. I would love to, she'd make me grilled cheese sandwiches and, how grandmas do. They it's always a little bit of, grandma's love and what she did and everything. And, I go over there and watch, John Wayne movies at her house, and she'd make me, snacks and stuff. But we'd always have our special things we do together. Yeah, Lois being spoiled, which probably was. There's so much stuff that I could talk about with her. And honestly, if I did talk about it more, I would definitely start to get upset about it. And because it's just a lot there. So, I wanted to have the show, but they're going to the funeral on Wednesday, which is going to be, we have to be all the way to Midlothian, we live in this North Mechanicsville, which is kind of north of Richmond or east of Richmond. And Midlothian is all the way on the south side of Richmond. So we got to get up early on Wednesday morning and drive out to the funeral home at 9 o'clock in the morning, which I'm not looking forward to at all. And then we'll do that. Then we'll take a procession over to the cemetery. But it's just a lot to do on Wednesday morning. And then, Tuesday, having the show Tuesday night would have worked, but it's just a lot. I get a lot of anxiety before I do the show, and having to start the show and then try to calm down and get tired enough to go to sleep with already all this other shit on my head right now, it would have been tough. So I was like, we'll just do it this weekend. And so I was gonna do it last night, but then Angie made some really good food. I ate too much, and I was like, no, I'm too bloated. So decided to do it tonight. And unfortunately, CR is not feeling good, so just going to be myself, and I. I'm reading some supernatural news. I don't know how long I'm going to be doing it for. But we'll have fun and enjoy ourselves. Today is National Melon Day, by the way. And I don't mean melons. I actually mean watermelons. I'm assuming. I don't know. Maybe melons, which I kind of like that holiday too. Don't get me wrong. And it's National Filet Mignon Day, so you can eat a watermelon and then eat a steak, and you can be celebrating the holidays. Hey, Kristen, what is up? How are you? Hope you had a good time with. Where'd you guys go? Could you go with Flameria this weekend? Hope you had a good time out there. Hope you have a good time celebrating Melon Day. Melon Day or Melon Day. Either one. Hope you're having a good time celebrating that. And National Filet Mignon Day, of course. Grab a steak. Have fun. Take a sip out my Rugrats mug here. Decaf coffee. So we're going to start off the show here with some supernatural news. We're going to check out strangerdimensions.com. So whoop, there it is. Okay. Let's go over here. Boom. So this is the first article we're going to read tonight. Is 4 weird clues that paranormal universes exist. The scientific possibility of parallel universes first arrived with Hewitt Everett III's relative state formulation in 1957. Not long after, Bryce DeWitt renamed Everett's theory and introduced it to the masses, bringing us the popular many worlds interpretation. But there are others, each attempting to solve the quantum measurement problem, and in this case, Everett's formulation. These include the many minds interpretation and my personal favorite, many histories. Sounds exciting. Interpretations of interpretations, yes, it's very messy. But for now, any thoughts of dimension hopping adventures and interacting with parallel universes are relegated to science fiction. It's just not possible. Or is it? We'll find out. Let's take a quick look at some of the weirder clues that maybe, just maybe, are living in one of many worlds. Now, that's something that people talk about a lot, with like Bigfoot being interdimensional and maybe even spirits being. So we're learning about ghosts and paranormal activity right now. So here's a snapshot of an alleged ghost that popped up at the 16th century palace of King Henry VIII. It appeared on CCTV after security guards were notified of someone repeatedly opening the fire exit. And I'm not saying this is an actual ghost, just using it as an example. Beyond ghostly photographs, though, many of these sightings could have an even more exotic explanation: parallel worlds bleeding into one another. A ghost, a specter, the haunting visage of the deceased. Perhaps this person is alive and well in another world, and you've simply caught a glimpse into their universe. Or perhaps this particular parallel universe is the realm of the dead itself. So let's see here if we can play this video.
This is what a security camera at Hampton Court captured on tape about 3 weeks ago. Is this a ghost?
Right, now what this is the security staff heard an alarm go off, which actually meant that the fire doors were open. They rushed to it and there was nothing there. The doors were closed, actually, when they got there. Now, we'll go back through this again. On CCTV camera, but not seen by anybody at the naked eye, was this. Can we see it again, please, now? Okay.
There are other CCTV cameras around Hampton Court, particularly after that fire. Nobody was seen approaching this particular spot. You don't see the doors actually being pushed open by hand. Figure strides forward and slams them shut. As you can see, and close-ups have shown that it appears to be dressed in medieval clothes, similar to what Henry VIII would have worn. But the key thing is it happened 3 days on the run. That's the only time that a figure actually appeared on the camera, and the other CCTV cameras and witnesses around saw nobody.
So, I mean, that was pretty, I don't know, that's weird. That was strange. Because it actually looked like a person. It wasn't like a mist. It looked like someone was like, oh shit, the door's open. Well, I'm going to close them. And yeah. But if you believe what they're saying, they said no one saw it with their naked eye. So I don't know, man. That's tough. Sorry. That is tough. I did. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments what you thought of that video, because it looks so, like, honestly, it does look like someone's like, oh shit, we have the AC on. I gotta close the door. We gotta shut the doors. Crazy. Deja vu, and alter view. It sounds like a nice rhyme there. A deja vu is one of several strange phenomena of the mind, including deja vu, deja vu, and deja viste, among others. Deja vu in particular is the uncanny sensation that you've experienced something before, that an event is repeating itself. With deja vu, you may even feel that you know what's going to happen next. An alter view, as well, is a term that popped up during the John Titor saga to describe when someone remembers their world lying differently. This is all shit I never heard of before in my life. Conflicting memories. Something changed about the world they live in. Think about Marty McFly at the end of Back to the Future. He'd remember the name of the malls as Twin Pines, but due to his time travel, it's changed to Lone Pine Mall. He remembers both realities. I guess that's maybe like what they call the Mandela effect. Both experiences have neurological and memory-based explanations, but it is possible that deja vus are memories from other versions of ourselves in other universes, or that alter views, maybe views, are truly memories from altered world lines. Hey, CR, how's it going? Man, I definitely want to check out Berkeley Plantation. Man, it's one of the places I want to go to. I think Crop is having an investigation at the Varina Public Library on October 18th. So that's going to be fun. We're going to be over at Pamplin Park on September 23rd. And we have a big event at the Cabin on 360 on September 30th. We've got Holly Mullins and Dallas Adams coming out to do seance out there. We're gonna have our investigations out there as well. So if any, if you're in the area, and it is National Ghost Hunting Day that day, so there's gonna be a ton of people having investigations. But Holly is one of the coolest people you'll ever meet, and it's gonna be great. We're gonna have Howie Mullins. I almost Howie Odell. Oh my God, Howie Odell is gonna be out there. Broadcasting live from the event for the Orion Effect on the Riffs Radio Network. He's going to be out there doing interviews and stuff. So that's going to be fun. Of course, we've got Crop going to be out there investigating. Investigators from Crop going to be out there helping out as well. So only $40 a ticket to come out and join us for that investigation. So we got a lot of cool stuff coming up. So if you're in the area, you want to have fun, coming out to the Cabin on 360, Pamplin Park in the Varina Public Library. So back to the show. Boop. Number 3, dreams in parallel universes. If sleep is little slice of death, then what are dreams? Some dreams are we remember, most we don't. While the mechanism for dreaming is fairly understood, they tend to occur during REM sleep. We still don't know their true purpose, if there is one. A glimpsing into the unconscious mind, a way for our brains to sort out information? That was a question. Okay. Or could they be windows to another world? And there are times when I've had dreams, and I've discussed these dreams on the show before. Some dreams are so real, and they give you like emotions. Of course, I've had dreams where my mom has approached me and stuff, and I've had dreams where other people have come and seen me that I haven't seen in a while, and it's like, oh my God, I haven't talked to this person in a long time, and I don't know if it's a mental thing or what, but I tend to believe like those dreams where my mom came to see me. That was her. That wasn't a mental. That was her coming to see me, because it did feel super real. And I think that was it was different. But I've had dreams that felt real, but they went away. That feeling went away. Versus when you dream like you're at the beach or something and you wake up, it's like raining outside and you gotta go to work or something like that, but it felt so real when you were in that dream. You're like, oh my God, I want to go back. And there are some dreams that are just so weird. Like some of my dreams just don't make sense at all. So maybe it was a parallel universe, because I can't explain half the shit I dream about, to be honest with you. Hang on one second. Parallel universe stories. Believe it or not, there have been a few cases of individuals who claim to belong to another world or other origins, or origins or otherwise cannot be traced. True, false, I don't know. Consider these two stories. Lorena Garcia, who woke up one day in our world, that did not belong to her. According to the story, as her day progressed, she continued to notice small incongruities, that little things were just off, but there were big things too. I went to work in my car, which was parked where I'd always parked it. And it was the same office I'd worked in for the last 20 years. When I got to my department, it wasn't my department. It has names on the door, and it wasn't mine on it. I thought I was on the wrong floor, but no, it was my own floor. I went over to the office's wireless section and looked myself up. I still worked there, but in another department. Reporting to superior, I didn't even know. The strange man who arrived in Tokyo, number 2. A strange man who arrived in Tokyo in 1954 with a passport from a country that didn't exist, called Toured. Japanese customs officials detained the man, but his passport was not a fake. It had the proper stamps, was issued by the country of Toured, and even included Japanese stamps from a previous visit. The man swore that Toured was a European country that existed for over 1,000 years. And he also held other papers, such as bank statements with the country's name on them. After several hours, customs officials eventually placed the man in a hotel with security nearby to ensure that he did not leave his room while they checked things out. The next morning, he was gone. No trace, a manhunt ensued, but there was no point. He had simply vanished. Obviously, the veracity of these two stories can't be confirmed, but at least to my knowledge, but you work with what you have, right? Let me read that again, because you work with what you have, So do parallel universes exist? Oh, man, I don't know. I would probably tend to say yes, excuse me. But I think they do. because why not? I just don't, there's so much stuff that is out there that I don't know about. Just because I don't know about it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. So I'm going to say, why not? Why not? I've been talk to people. You told me that trolls and leprechauns and fairies and all those creatures exist. Who am I to say? I mean, shoot, I don't know. I believe it. Might as well. Let's see here. Some of these articles are pretty old. But hey, they're still good. Let's see. Boop. How many people believe in witchcraft is real in 2000? I think a lot more people than we think believe that witchcraft is real. That's for sure. I mean, a lot of my friends believe witchcraft is real. Hell, I believe witchcraft is real. Especially with Facebook and everything out there, people being social media in general, it's just Facebook, but social media in general, people being able to talk and communicate with each other, a support system, so you don't sound like you don't feel like you're crazy for believing these things because other people believe in them. And there's safety in numbers too. A lot, there's someone else out there that believes the same things that you do, you would be a lot more apt to talk about it and spread the word of how you feel of your stuff you're dealing with and stuff. So yeah, I believe a lot more people believe in witchcraft. This was written by Rob Swartz, April 10th, 2023. So it's not that old. Where have it been for the last year and 4 months? Oh, stuff. I guess he hadn't been there for a while. One of those authors or writers that contribute a lot to the website here, but he's been gone for 4 months. So hopefully he got his stuff figured out. Anyway, do you believe in the evil eye, a supernatural curse cast by nothing more than a disgruntled glare? Believe it or not, that concept played a major role in a paranormal study published back on November 23rd, 2022 in the journal PLOS One, which involved the belief of witchcraft. You might think that witchcraft, witches, wizards, and magic are all things that we put behind us now. But you would be mistaken, friends. Our belief in the supernatural is holding on and even possible. Yeah. I would say it is surging. I mean, maybe the popularity of ghost shows aren't as prevalent as they used to be because there's so many other options of how to get your paranormal fix on. Because remember, a few years ago, there was ghost shows on everything. With the strike going on, it might bring back a resurgence of paranormal shows. The actors strike going on because they got to have some kind of stuff material to put out there, right? But for the longest time, there was a lot of paranormal shows out there, and it was just like every network, not every network, obviously, but a lot of networks had paranormal shows out there, and so they've kind of died down a little bit through budget cuts and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, I think it's still a very strong belief in the paranormal. CR, I'm glad I hope you feel better, man. I'm sorry you're not feeling great, CR. Sorry. And yeah, vivid dreams. Yeah, I get those vivid dreams. But the difference between when someone visits you and vivid dreams, I get a lot of vivid dreams, especially when I not every time. I take a lot of stuff to fall asleep. I am really bad insomniac, so I'll take Ambien and melatonin to fall asleep. And sometimes they really fuck my dreams up pretty bad. Okay. Titled Witchcraft Beliefs Around the World, an Exploratory Analysis. The study looked at the number of people across the globe who truly believe in witchcraft and, by extension, magic and superstition. Like I've just talked about earlier, we're having a seance at the cabin on Saturday, September 30th. I mean, witchcraft. Holly Mullins is one of the, I think she was like a Appalachian granny witch or something. I'll probably say completely wrong and I apologize for it, but she's up in the way out in the country, and she grows her own herbs and stuff like that, and she has her own like retreats where she has her in Dallas. They have these people come out and they cleanse them and they get them centered and stuff, and yeah, mediums. I guess that's the same thing. I mean, not the exact same thing, obviously, but Jerry Reyes from Vibe Time with Jerry. She makes her own candles and makes her own oils and stuff like that to help people, deal with whatever they need to deal with. Study looked at the number of people. Okay, the data set they used contained information gathered by the Pew Research Center from 2008 to 2016, involving 147 people from 95 countries and territories in places both big and small. What they found was that over 40% of the world's population holds some belief in witchcraft. 40%. That's pretty big. It's a pretty big number there. According to the study, belief varies from location to location, as you'd expect. One major example of these varying rates of belief, which the researchers specifically highlighted, is the difference between Sweden and Tunisia, where belief in witchcraft rests at about 90% and 90% respectively. They also discovered from some correlation between belief in supernatural powers and how satisfied people are with their lives, as well as with how often people experience misfortunes. The strongest misfortunes were exposed to drought and unemployment rate. The study suggests that belief in witchcraft may actually be a coping mechanism for dealing with such things. But what is witchcraft anyway? The study defines it as an ability of certain people to intentionally cause harm via supernatural causes. Means, following this definition, all of the surveys included in their data set asked a question regarding the evil eye, a method I found particularly intriguing. The full question was, do you believe in the evil eye, or that certain people can cast cures or spells that cause bad things to happen to someone? Their reasoning for this question was that it referenced both the evil eye curse itself, as well as what they call the concept of witchcraft, following them to focus on specifically on belief. Sorry, I totally read that wrong. Allowing them to focus specifically on belief. Okay, sorry about that. So where are we going? I thought this study was an interesting one because it comes at a time when the practice of witchcraft and belief in certain aspects of the paranormal seem to be on the rise. Now, as I alluded to at the top of this article, I've been away for quite a while, like a worn-out, poorly written Luke Skywalker who cut himself off from the Force. I've cut myself off from the paranormal. Is that such a bad thing? Maybe, maybe not. I had my reasons. But the point is, I have no idea where the paranormal stands in 2023. I have a feeling it's still a mess, but we will see. Stay tuned for my next article where I try to catch myself up and probably fail at it. That said, I want to share two other articles regarding belief in witchcraft that highlight this trend of increasing interest. An article from 2018 titled "The U.S. Witch Population Has Seen Astronomical Rise" showed that in the United States, the number of practicing Wiccans had grown from about 8,000 people to 1990 to a whopping 1.1 to 1.5 million in 2014. Last year, an article at NBC News likewise highlighted the increase in witchcraft and paganism in their article. Why paganism and witchcraft are making a comeback, specifically pointing out the role social networks like TikTok, WitchTok, and Instagram played in the spread of magical practice. Will this trend continue? A Gallup poll that I shared back in October 2021 also pointed to an increase of belief in spacecraft from other planets, with about 41% of U.S. adults believing so. Perhaps this is the overall percentage of those who believe in the paranormal, around 40%. And then there's always a middle ground, and the middle ground lies in the word maybe. I'm an absurdist after all. I don't know what the heck is going on. Is witchcraft real? I don't think I've ever seen it in action, but I suppose you never know. Not to mention, things viewed as magical, if they do exist, could have scientific explanations we simply do not have. For example, I've always thought an ability to see the future could simply be an ability to recognize and predict patterns better than others. Who's to say? As for belief itself, even here at Stranger Dimensions, we've seen just how many people do believe in the power of curses, such as those who chose to apologize to Robert the Doll. Why take the chance, right? Yeah, I mean, I see. Yeah, exactly. If it's not going to do you any harm to apologize to the doll, then why not? Why cover all your bases, So, wow. And that's an interesting article about witchcraft. I wonder how many people are like call themselves witches, but don't really, just do it because they think it's cool. Or don't really practice it like some people do. I mean, there are people who practice it, who live the life, and there are probably some people who just say it because they think it sounds cool. They light a few incense candles and meditate, and they call themselves witches. Let's see what the Bigfoot has been up to in 2023. Hey, Bigfoot, what's the hairy cryptid been up to in 2023? In 2023. Hiding, that's what. Bigfoot, the large bipedal humanoid of the usually Northwest Pacific Northwest, is almost as elusive as I am these days, but maybe we're getting closer to having this mystery. Spoiler, we are not. Well, I began this article as with the thought that maybe there would have been at least a few compelling stories in the news this year. I was met with sadly not that. Of course, we've had a number of alleged Bigfoot sightings pop up throughout 2023, from his usual stomping grounds of north of Washington State to the forests of Vermont, and even as unusual dark blob on Google Earth. But none of the recent evidence is particularly convincing. Let's have a look anyway. Drones and AI versus a very fake Bigfoot. You have to wonder how Bigfoot is coping with the growing number of drones, satellite imagery, and TikTokers out there. Is there anywhere to hide anymore? Or maybe Bigfoot has the right idea, and somewhere deep in the forest is just the place to be. Whatever the case, he appears to have some help staying in the shadows as Bigfoot statues and prank videos take up most of our attention. He's always keeping investigators on their toes. Footage from December 2022, which is our latest Bigfoot story. That's just how these things work. Appears to show a brown furry humanoid marching through the trees in Vermont. While the video originally appeared on YouTube, it was shared again this month on the world's latest hotbed of breaking paranormal discovery, TikTok. The video begins with the witness claiming he wants to show us a road, but then suddenly he notices something just to the side within the trees. He hops out of his car and using a drone sends a camera up to capture whatever it was. At first, the snowy path appears empty, but soon our big-footed friend emerges, or so it would seem, and the drone steadily pursues it. Was it Bigfoot? It would appear to be so, taking a leisurely stroll through the forest. The TikToker even went so far as to say it was one of the best recordings of what looks like to be a Bigfoot caught on camera. But was it? Was it really? Probably not, given that the original video was a joke all along, given away possibly by the not real in its title. In more interesting news, as much as the topic of a 56-year-old minute-long Sasquatch video can possibly be interesting, the classic Patterson-Gimlin Bigfoot footage recently underwent an AI glow-up, resulting in a much more stabilized version. I can watch it now. I don't have to like be sending to Twitter. Maybe I can watch it. Look at that. Expert use AI and computer vision to stabilize viral. Good God, man. Viral footage of the Patterson-Gimlin Bigfoot film from 1967. Another day in Washington. The Rocky Mountain Sasquatch Organization shares quite a few Bigfoot sightings on their blog and done so since 2015. Back in January, they received a photo of a potential Bigfoot or very lost Planet of the Apes extra in the forest around the Hoh River in Washington state. Ron B., friend of the witness, also claimed to have had his own encounters with something in the area, including hearing howls. He says the photo was taken by his friend about a year and a half ago, which would put the event around June 2021. Meanwhile, if you or someone you know happens to be a Bigfoot, you might want to consider moving to Clallam County, Washington, as local officials have declared the area of refuge for Sasquatch. I'm not going to read this thing because it's too long. If you'd like to see the proclamation for yourself, fully titled "Recognizing Honoring Sasquatch," feel free to head over to page 42 of their April 11, 2023 Board of Clallam Court Commission's agenda. That sounds exciting. And here at the end of all things, we're going to ignore that 1883 Bigfoot photo. I know it's out there. I've seen it. How some people manage to look at something like that and think, yes, that's real for sure, is beyond me. That's paranormal right there. Fine, I'll share it in tweet form anyways. This photo taken in 1883, this year on Okie Mountain, Cleburne County, Alabama, was found buried in a glass jar in the family estate. Well, there you go. They found it buried on a glass jar. It must be true. It's true the paranormal waters have always been muddy, and now we have AI-generated images to worry about. They're pretty obvious for now, but you have to wonder how they might affect paranormal investigations in the future. Most of what we see is fake or misidentified. How do you determine what might be real? Things we're already a mess. What's next? That's not to say that's not something this humble website can answer or wants to answer. All we can do is look at what's in front of us and maybe have some fun along the way. Besides, even if we can't find the real Bigfoot, at least we know we have footage of Pinky the Pink dolphin jumping around in Louisiana. So, shoot, Bigfoot, man. That is true, though. I mean, it's a good side of social media and being able to share yourself, and there's a bad side of it as well. Bad side, obviously, being it's a lot easier to fake things or send out fake images to try to fool people. I mean, a lot of people, they'll make these TikToks, paranormal TikToks. These paranormal in the quotation marks, but they use these TikToks as ways to get followers, and that's what they're all. And of course, you go out there. You want to people who want to spread the information. They want to get the word out by the paranormal, help teach people, but there are also people who just want to put paranormal in their titles and fake it just to get followers. And some people they don't pay quite as close attention to things, and they'll follow the TikTokers and they'll believe that it's true, the stuff they put out there, but even if it's people faking evidence just to get popularity and stuff like that. And then when people actually do put real evidence out there, people who were duped don't believe them because the other people were faking evidence. So it's a double-edged sword when it comes to stuff like that. Unfortunately, you can't control what other people do. And paranormal is a popular subject. So if you're gonna, and people like watching that stuff. So if you can get 100 followers from a paranormal TikTok, it would be tempting to try and put something out there that may not be real. I don't have the time or the patience to try to edit something like that. So, and a lot of stuff, the stuff I put out there is real. The stuff I put out on EVPs and stuff like that, because in this world, this area, this whatever. Sorry, tired. What we do in the paranormal, our word is our bond. So many ways to fake evidence, and you put an EVP out there, and if you get caught faking evidence just once, why would anybody believe what you're saying after? It just doesn't. You've lost it, man. So yeah, I would not ever want to put fake evidence out there, because I am in the field. I am part of this paranormal field. Now, people who are not, who are just in it for filming their family, and they figure out a way to make their lights blink on their own. They're not trying to. They don't have friends in the field. They don't have It's a lot easier for people who are not in the field to fake it and be like, all right, well, I was doing this for popularity and stuff. But for people like, me and my friends, we live for this stuff, man. We love it. And an evidence we put out there, we're very proud of. And we would never show anything that we did not go through with a fine-tooth comb and, be like, okay, I put an EVP out, even if it's just a recording, I know that it was real. I know that the person that the recording I got was not any of us that made the noise or said the words or whatever. I've been trying to. When I think about it, I'll use my video, my phone instead of just my recorder, so I can have video and audio of the of the evidence, whatever I captured. Wow. 33. So 33 photos taken right before its tragedy. All right, guys. I think I might read. I don't know. I'm tired. I'll read this one. Spirit guides, ghostly communication, or helpers from beyond. There's an old movie from 1993 that exists in the deepest recesses of our mind called Heart and Souls. It starred Robert Downey Jr., Charles Grodin, who was great in Muppets, The Great Muppet Caper. I almost said Muppets Take Manhattan, but he was in Great Muppet Caper. I haven't seen that movie in a long time, man. I gotta watch that again. The Great Muppet Caper. That was a good one. Elizabeth Shue and Alfred Woodard, and was about a group of people who died together in a bus crash and became the unwitting spirit guides or guardian angels to a boy just born just at that moment. Haven't seen it in ages, but I remember it being a pretty fun movie. Don't quote me on that. I really don't remember. Robert Downey Jr. apparently views it as one of his favorites, though. Anyway, I thought we'd talk a little bit about those spirit guides, otherworldly beings said to guide us from beyond. And are they real? Well, real has no real meaning. Well, real has no meaning here. This is paranormal folklore, and we're just going to see what people have to say. What are spirit guides anyway? The term spirit guide likely evokes the image of a spectral, translucent figure of the once living. Someone who's been around the block before, maybe a few times, and for some cosmic reason is lending you a hand. This, according to the folklore, can be exactly the case. Spirit guides are said to be non-physical beings and can be the once living, with spirits of ancestors said to be particularly powerful guides. However, guides can also take other forms. They can be animals or guardian angels or beings from other planes of existence. They can be what's called light energy or ascended masters, former humans who reach enlightenment. They can even be the living world around us, taking the forms of nature and even plant life. Some even believe that spirit guides are none of these things, but rather the spirits of our true selves guiding us from some higher state of being. Now that's a fascinating possibility. The concept of guides has existed throughout history in many cultures. So perhaps all of these possibilities are true in one way or another, at least in how people view them. For example, even the U.S. Department of Agriculture has a page regarding the use of plants in shamanism and the rituals used by ancient cultures and indigenous peoples around the world in communicating with ancestors and the spirit world. To some of these cultures, spirit guides were powerful plants or totemic animals that assisted them with navigating that other realm. Many mediums and practitioners believe that spirit guides are with you throughout your entire life, from the moment you're born. And just like in Heart and Souls, you might have more than one. Another otherworldly entourage following you without you ever even knowing. This doesn't mean they stay with you forever. You may have guides that stick with you your entire life, but just as well. They might come and go. But according to paranormal folklore, at any moment you can be mostly sure a guide is watching over you in some manner. I'd say mostly because at least a few other mediums I have seen, claim that some people appear to not have guides, at least in other particular moments. They interacted with them. Maybe their guides were on break. Let me read that again because I think I even understood that myself. I say mostly because at least a few mediums I've seen have claimed that some people appeared to not have guides, at least in those particular moments they interacted with them. Maybe their guides were on break. Okay. Whatever the case, the spirit guides in whatever form they appear don't exist to take control of situations or shove us towards desired outcomes, but instead to gently guide us through life's obstacles. Whether or not here's a few famous spirit guides. Whether or not you believe in such things, spirit guides play a major role in mediumship, which is the practice of communicating with and channeling spirits. Over the years, many mediums have publicly claimed to know and speak with their own guides. Celebrities and others have also come forward with the names of their spirit guides as well. One of the most well-documented spirit guides was perhaps an entity named Seth, allegedly channeled by author and spirit medium Jane Roberts. The Seth material, published by Roberts in 1970, is a rare, controversial book detailing the teachings of Seth. A number of books on the topic have been published throughout the years, including those published posthumously by Robert's husband. The spirit, which described itself as an energy personality, began conversing with Roberts and her husband through a Ouija board on December 2nd, 1963. Eventually, Seth began speaking to Roberts directly in her mind, after which she began dictating conversations. Konstantin Rodiv was allegedly guided during his experiments in the 1960s by an otherworldly radio operator named Spidola. Rodiv wasn't exactly what you would call a medium, more researcher, but he essentially fulfilled that role during his experiments. Spidola was a female spirit helper who operated a transmitting station from the beyond. Both of these possibly ride the line between personal spirit guide and just a good old-fashioned spirit of communication, but they're prominent names nonetheless. Before her passing, Olivia Newton-John wrote about her own spirit guides in her memoir, Don't Stop Believing. She said her guides were actually the spirits of deceased friends, such as John Denver and Karen Carpenter. They'd be nearby as she performed and support her from beyond. There are those out there who might feel a bit perturbed if I mention popular mediums such as Teresa Capito, famous for a Long Island medium, but to be at least but to try to be at least a little thorough, Capito claims the spirit guide is named simply Spirit, who guides her through audiences towards. Claims her spirit guide is named simply Spirit, who guides her through audiences towards those ready to receive her spirit a message from beyond. How to contact spirit guides, maybe. Actually trying to contact spirit guide or any kind of alleged entity is a little outside the scope of this humble website, but I've done it myself anyways. I've never done it myself anyways, but it's worth taking a look at what Yeah, I really can't talk anymore. It's got to be the last one because I am. Whew. When contacting a spirit guide, the usual methods of communication are employed. Listening is one. Simply opening your mind to the spirit guide and seeing what happens. Perfect for the lazy among us. Some even name their spirit guide to strengthen their connection if a name isn't already involved. Another method is is said to be automatic writing, in which you channel a spirit by clearing your mind. That's the hardest part. Clearing your mind is not the easiest thing to do. And just writing or typing, the spirit may take control, in a sense, write out their message. Others attempt to meet their spirit guides through methods like astral projection or meditation. Various sources claim that spirit guides may reach out to you on their own, simply as a voice in the back of your mind, or a feeling, or even a dream. This could be something like your inner self-conscious, and yet coming from outside yourself. There are also those who believe that the phenomena of synchronicity or noticing strange coincidences seem impossibly connected. In a way, spirit guides may try to get your attention. Repeating numbers are also said to be a sign that your spirit guide is speaking to you. I know a lot of times, you'll see 1111, 30, 333, 444, 222, stuff like that on the phone. And, say spirit guides are talking to you. I still don't understand what I'm supposed to do when I see those numbers. I don't know if it's a sign I'm supposed to actually do something, or I don't understand what the point of those numbers are. Of course, with all these things involving spirit communications, there are those who are wary about reaching out to any spirits, especially those who might claim to have your best interests at heart. I've read many stories of people who have attempted astral projection and sworn it off forever, usually after coming into contact with what they would describe as negative entities. Those who warn against the use of Ouija boards would simply caution against trusting any spirits who claim to be loved ones or helpful types. You know how it goes, demons. Some communities exist where you can find more information, such as spirit guides. You might want to have a look at those for a more granular view and topic and community surrounding it. I'm going to go skip all that part. Have you met your spirit guide? Paranormal topics like this are often fuzzy, and that's why when writing about them, it can feel like a random jumble of some say this and others say that. But that's really just how it is. There are no scientific studies I can point to regarding spirit guides, and no facts. Obviously, meeting a spirit guide is a personal thing, and you're not going to be able to. You can document it, you can write it down, that kind of stuff, but it's still a personal thing. It's something you have to deal with spiritually. So, to be able to document something like that scientifically would be tough to do. As a creep recruiting, because it's all personal stuff. All personal. Your spirit guides are your personal spirit guides. So they're going to appear to you and nobody else. As I keep repeating, this is paranormal folklore. These are some of the beliefs of those who practice this sort of thing, and it's nothing concrete. Never is. Everyone has their own interpretations, their own methods. Truth is, in many ways, a separate discussion entirely. Take it as you will, dear reader. That said, I find the concept of spirit guides fascinating, if not a little unsettling. The idea that at any moment you may have a spirit watching over you. Are they helpful? What if they're bad at it? Do they give you privacy? Some things are better left unknown, I guess. So that was a few supernatural news articles here. Hope everyone has a good week. I'm going to be back here next Tuesday, not this Tuesday coming up, but next Tuesday with, let's see what we have next on there. Checking our schedule. Kevin Ott, I think from Haunted Discoveries is what he has. And then we have Shayna Winkle coming up on August 29th. So two awesome shows coming up here in the next few weeks. Back here next Tuesday, not week from Tuesday. Same freaking awesome time, same freaking awesome channel. Good night, guys.